You know that picture we all have in our heads of the first Thanksgiving? Pilgrims and Native Americans all sitting down for a nice, friendly meal? But what if I told you the real story was way less about friendship and a whole lot more about politics, strategy, and just plain survival? So that's the big question we're really going to dig into today. We're going to peel back all those layers of the myth to get to what actually happened. Yeah, the story we usually get is this simple, friendly meal. But the truth? It's so much more complex. This wasn't just a dinner party, not by a long shot. It was more like a high-stakes political summit. So let's get into why. Okay, so to really get why this feast even happened, we got to go back in time. We have to understand the sheer desperation that was in the air for the Pilgrims in Plymouth back in 1621. I mean, the situation for the Pilgrims it was just dire. They had somehow made it through this absolutely brutal first winter in a land they knew nothing about. They were starving, they were weak, and honestly, their future was not looking good at all. Survival was the only thing on their minds. So, what happens next? Well, it wasn't just some random encounter. It was the start of a really critical partnership, an alliance that wasn't born out of friendship, but out of sheer, absolute necessity. And this all really comes down to three key people. You had Massasoit, the sharp strategic leader of the Wampanoag people. Then there was Governor John Carver, who was representing the struggling Pilgrims. And right in the middle, acting as this crucial bridge between them, you had Squanto, a Wampanoag man who, incredibly, could speak English. And I want to pause on that word for a sec. Alliance. Look at the definition here. A union for mutual benefit. That phrase right there, mutual benefit, that's the key to understanding this whole story. Both sides needed something, and they needed it badly. So what did the Wampanoag actually bring to this alliance? Well, this wasn't just some friendly advice, This was literally the difference between life and death. They taught them how to plant crops that would actually grow there, and they showed them how to hunt and fish in this new environment. Without this help, there's a very good chance the Plymouth colony just would have vanished. And all of this leads us right up to the famous event itself. Because of that Wampanoag know-how, the Pilgrims actually had a successful harvest. So in the fall of 1621, they planned a celebration. And look, this wasn't just some quick potluck dinner. The historical accounts say this celebration of survival went on for 3 whole days. I mean, just think about that for a second. This was a big, important event. And get this, the Wampanoag didn't just show up empty-handed. Massasoit and his man arrived and brought 5 deer with them for the feast. That's a huge contribution to the food supply, and it shows they were active partners in this, not just guests. From everything we know, the atmosphere was genuinely peaceful. For those 3 days, these two completely different cultures actually came together. They ate, they shared stories, they played games. It really was the absolute high point of their alliance. But, and this is a big but, as peaceful as it all seemed, it was all built on this incredibly fragile foundation. Now we need to look at the tensions that were simmering just below the surface of this historic meal. So, yeah, we have to come back to that first question. After everything they'd been through, with so much at stake for both sides, was this really just about friendship? The history points to something much more political going on. Let's just break it down. What did each side really want? For the Pilgrims, it was simple. Survive, that's it. But for Massasoit and the Wampanoag, this was also a clever strategic move to get an ally with new technology on their side, giving them an edge over their rivals in the region. And this is where you can really see the whole dynamic laid out. On one side, you have these shared interests, right? Survival, defending each other. But on the other side, that tension was always there. They had totally different long-term goals, and whether they knew it or not, they were on a path to compete for power and land. All right, so what's the bottom line here? What should we take away from all this? The first Thanksgiving wasn't just a simple harvest meal. It was a political meeting, it was an alliance of necessity, and it stands as this powerful symbol of both real cooperation and, tragically, the conflict that was still to come. And this is so important to remember. If you take away its place in American myth, this moment is a powerful testament to the Wampanoag people, to their strategic thinking, their resilience, and their incredible adaptation in the face of seismic changes to their world. Which, it kind of leaves us with one final thought. When we really look at the story, a fragile peace built on both shared needs and hidden agendas, over 400 years ago, what can that really teach us about the alliances we see and form in our own world right now?